Hello everyone, in this video we are going to talk about areas of composite shapes. Quite interesting video. I've done a bit of research on some characters, so you have to wait until I first teach the introductory part and then get into the exciting part. Alright, so if you are in year 6, year 7, you must be coming across learning about different formulas of two-dimensional shapes. Okay, so for example, area of a triangle is quite tricky. So we should know that area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2. So in this case, in this first picture, your base is this part and height is always the vertical line perpendicular to your base. So 12 times 8 divided by 2. And that would give you 48 square meters. Let's take a look at this second triangle, which is an obtuse triangle. Now remember, as I said, the height always have to be like a perpendicular line to its base. So you can extend your sides, and this is what it is. So your base is 15, yeah, but your height is this part. So you're going to do 15 times 8 divided by 2, which is 60 square meters. So some students like doing half times base times height, but I think this is a better way because you can simply do 2 goes in 8 4 times and 15 times 4 is 60. So I feel this is faster, but depends on whichever method your brain is processing, go for it. Now, composite shapes deal with 2 or more different shapes embedded in one shape. So here, as you can see, this is a rectangle, this is another rectangle, and this is another rectangle. So 3 rectangles combined together, forming this shaded area of this shape. So if you want to find the area of this shape, you can do the area of this first rectangle, then add it with this one and this one. So that's the idea. So we know that the formula for area of a rectangle is length times width. So you would do 8 times 3, which is 24. In this case, it is 4 times 3, which is 12. And in this case, again, it is 8 times 3, which is 24. And your total area would be by adding all 3 of them, which ended up being 60 centimeter square. And again, as we know, areas are 2 dimensions, so we always say squares. Now, let's say you have another shape. So that was addition technique. We can add bits and pieces, and then we can get the total area. Now, what about this one? So this is the only part you want. So you can do an imaginary rectangle by adding this dotted part. So the whole thing is given to you as 11. Now this part is given to you as 6. So that means 11 minus 6 is this other missing part. Yeah, 5 centimeters. And this whole thing is 7. So then you can say, because this is given to you as 3, 7 minus 3, that means, what did I miss? Yeah, opposite sides are always same in rectangles. So this whole thing is 7. So if this part is given to you as 3, then this is also 3. So that's how you need to know. And then this one would be 4 right here. So which I'm going to do a fastest technique. What that is I'm going to add these missing pieces. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a big rectangle. And the area of that big rectangle would be 7 times 11. Yeah. And then subtract the missing piece. Rather than finding multiple pieces of rectangles and adding them, I figured out that if I have a big rectangle and subtract that missing piece, I can get the remaining part. So that is another way to find the area of the composite shapes. Okay. Now this one is another good example. So this, imagine that your actual piece is given to you in this shape. Now what I did, I added this imaginary triangle. So there's this little base and this is the height. So if you know that this whole thing is 9 and this is only 5, as I said, this whole piece also should be 9, right? So then this piece would be 4 because 5 plus 4 is 9. Now the same thing, this whole thing has to be 9. So if that is already 6, then this have to be 3. So what I did 9 times 9, which is my square, minus the little triangle. So base times height divided by 2, that would end up as 75 centimeters square. Now moving on, let's say you have a trapezium. A trapezium looks like this. You have two parallel sides, and then the perpendicular line that always have to be your height. Yeah, and then this is 8 and this is 12. How would you set up? So I'm going to go into some darker color. Yeah, so this is your base 1, this is your base 2, and this is your height. So when you substitute into the formula for a trapezium or a trapezoid, this is how you would solve it. So I prefer having this in brackets. So base 1 plus base 2, then times height divided by 2. Yeah, there we go. So now is where we are getting into some exciting part. I mean, revealing one of my characters that I revealed after watching this particular video on a brain rot character called Tung 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 Sahor. So apparently I watched a little bit of it for the first time, and man, this character does nothing but smacking people and causes brain rot. Anyway, this is an AI generated anthropomorphic Kentan gun character holding a wooden drumstick. Or sometimes it's a bat. It takes a bat and smacks it, right? So in order to do a counter character who would fight back this, I created myself B4 or B power 4, which is bing 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 batter. So if someone is trying to smack him, he will combat it with its own bat and try to win the case. Anyway, so this is my character, and I'm going to teach areas of composite shapes using this character. So let's see. So when you look at the face, the length is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The width is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units. Yeah, so area of this face would be 8 times 5, which is 40 units square. Then let's take a look at the circle or the eyes. So this is the face part. Let's focus on your eyes. This is just a fun way that I came up with teaching you composite shapes. So now the eyes are in the shape of a circle. So let's say the radius is 1.5 units. So the area would be pi r square, which is nothing but pi times 1.5 square. Oh, that would end up as, oh my goodness, 1.5 times, I don't have a calculator next to me, guys, I'm so sorry, it's taking up. That would be roughly 7.1 or 7.06 unit square. Yeah, but it's better to check this out. Then let's take a look at the nose. The nose is, the height is 2 and the base is 2. So then this would be base times height divided by 2. So 2 times 2 divided by 2 ends up to unit square. In this way, you can take a look at this picture and like you can find out all the different dimensions. I chose this trapezium for the feet. So let's call this roughly 1. This is, let's call that as 3. So let's say for trapezium base 1 is 1, base 2 is 3, and the height is roughly 1.5. So you can use these dimensions and find the area. As I mentioned, it's base 1 plus base 2 times height divided by 2. So you have 1 plus 3, which is 4, times 1.5 divided by 2. This whole thing will become 2, and this would be 3 units square. Yeah, so it's just a funny way for you to realize that any characters or any animation would use common geometric shapes. So you are surrounded by so many shapes. So there's a beauty of math everywhere around you. So yep, that's just fun way to introduce you some composite shapes. And another thing that you have to remember is if they give you just this half piece, please make sure to find the area of this entire triangle. Your base have to be 2 times of that. So if that is 4, then this will be 4. Yeah. So your entire base is 8. And based off of that, you would find the area of this shape. So base times height divided by 2. So you end up as 32 units square. There you go. That's it. So hope this topic was helpful and you have learned some tips and tricks in dealing with composite shapes. Thanks again. Thanks for